Bring the whole family over to T-Mobile and get the awesome iPhone XR on us when you trade in your old device. You'll be snapping, streaming, and sharing to your heart's content. Visit a store or call 1-800-T-Mobile and get an iPhone XR on us.
Via 24 monthly bill credits for well-qualified customers plus tax. Qualifying trade-in, port-in, service, and finance agreement required. Contact us before canceling or credit stop and remaining balance due. 64 gigs, 0 down plus $31.25 per month for 24 months. Pre-credit price, $749.99, 0% APR. One offer per account.
You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, man. Now listening to the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. What's happening, fans? This is Big Q chiming with you on the Pelican postgame report podcast 379, covering your beloved New Orleans Pelicans. Report to you on the road, family. On the road, moving around, shaking around, covering the Pelicans. And a lot to talk about today. Podcast 379. We got to cover the Pelicans draft picks breakdown. We had an opportunity to do a live stream covering the Pelicans draft some time ago. And it was pretty fun, man. Hanging out with the fam. Going over some of the draft picks the Pelicans had an opportunity to bring aboard. And I just think it's fantastic if you look at some of the moves that this team is making. And I'm just excited about it. I mean, it's everything that, we've been saying to do for the last several years. We had an incompetent leadership at the helm. And the weirdest part about the whole deal is that David Griffin basically trades with the Lakers. Dale Demps had an opportunity to do a better version of the trade because in the first trade, Magic Johnson was offering multiple first-round picks, 3, I believe, and all of the players that we have gotten, plus Kyle Kuzma. So in essence, the Magic Johnson deal would have been better if Dale Demps would have pulled the trigger on that deal. Guess what? I think he would still be here. I think he would still be the GM of the Pelicans had he pulled that deal. Because the boiling tipping point, which led to him getting fired, was with Anthony Davis walked out of the stadium. Anthony Davis wouldn't have been here if he would have traded them when he was supposed to. But I digress. It's revisionist history. We move forward. But we'll cover the draft breakdown, give you our takes on it. Also, we'll have interviews from David Griffin. Zion Williamson, the newest Pelican phenom, is on the mic. And, of course, Coach L. Gentry gives you his thoughts as well. The Lakers and the Pelicans rework the deal. We'll give you the details of that move as well as the Pelicans continue to get even more money out of the Lakers. For Anthony Davis, you get several draft picks into the future. Key young assets, and the Lakers are I don't know what the Lakers are. We also talk about the Pelicans declining offers on restricted free agents, opening up even more cap space as the Pelicans currently sitting over $30 million in cap revenue. Big ups for the Pelicans, man. Not only, doing a terrific job of securing young assets at very cheap costs, but also having $30 million, getting rid of the albatross that was once Solomon Hill's contract is out of here, and the team's now moving forward with a lot of momentum, and I just absolutely love what's going on. The Pelicans have a new announcer. We'll talk about that as well, which is they're remaking the team. They got a new radio announcer, but we'll talk about the new television announcer as well, and I think is an improvement on who they had previously. We'll break down the Pelicans' new lineup. We'll also talk about the cap space situation, and of course the Pelicans did sign some undrafted players to bring into Summer League. So we'll hit you with all that information today on Podcast 379. Without further ado, let's kind of move right into the first story, which is the breakdown of some of the draft guys. If you remember, during the draft, the Pelicans did a pretty damn good job of picking up talent when they were supposed to, getting some exciting young players in here. Now, Zion Williamson is a no-brainer. We know exactly what he brings in to the team. a guy that can score, just a brute in the paint, exciting, jumps out of the gym, pure athleticism. Some of his game needs a little work, and a lot of people I've seen on the live stream when the Pelicans were introducing these with him was saying that he's overrated and all that. There's always haters and doubters. It was the same thing with LeBron. These same clowns was calling LeBron James overrated, and the only thing he does is just continue to take teams to the playoffs. He's won multiple championships. Hopefully, we'll be fortunate to have a situation where we have a player like this Zion Williamson kid will come in and he mirrors a lot of the philosophies of what a guy like Anthony Davis, with a lot of things like LeBron James does. Just be interested to see just how well he can be, what he can bring to Alvin Gentry's system. But let's get into some of the picks. Of course, we know about Zion Williamson and what he did. The Pelicans also picked up with the 8th overall pick, Jackson Hayes, a 7-foot, 225-pound big that can run the floor. Best center in the draft. Now, these are terrific players. Zion Williamson, Jackson Hayes, and then the team also gets Nickel Alexander Walker, 3-point shooter with good size with the 17th pick. Shooting guard, guy that can shoot the ball as well. Very talented player, shooting a high percentage from that 38%, by the way, in 67 collegiate games. That's pretty good. And, of course, the Pelicans had a developmental player in Marcus Silva, who probably is just going to stay in Europe and develop. So the Pelicans did get some talent, real good talent, with Williamson, Hayes, and Nickel Alexander Walker. And then they continue to turn it on, otherwise picking up other talent undrafted, which we'll probably break that down later on in the show. But it's real interesting, man, what the Pelicans were able to do. Dealing with the draft, building through the draft, and also adding the talent that is Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. These guys, bringing these guys into the fold has helped the Pelicans build the team, address needs and situations without spending a lot of money. They got these two young players, fills the point guard position, gets the small forward that Dell Demps could never get, pairs them with Zion Williamson, and then we get all these young other talented players. Then the Pelicans were able to get rid of Solomon Hill's hefty contract, and ultimately open up $30 million, decline offers as well. We'll get into the decline offers and the rest of it. But first, before we finish up with the stories, let's hear from VP of Basketball Operations, David Griffin, on his thoughts on what happened.
First, I'd like to thank Austin Brown and Lisa Matulis from CAA, Zion's representation, for the way they handled every step of the process here since they got involved in the Pelicans family. Everything that has taken place from a professional standpoint off the court, I've never seen the equal of it. And so thank you very much, Austin, Lisa, amazing. To his family that are here in front of us, we had a very, very special evening the night of the lottery. I won't do this all the time, I promise. We had a really special evening the night of the lottery. And Alvin and I were able to sit with Zion for about 20 minutes, and we were so taken with him, we asked if his parents were there and if he would mind if they came downstairs. And so Sharonda and Lee came downstairs, and we sat for about an hour and a half together talking about what it would look like to be a member of the Pelicans family. And we had the conversation that if you choose us, we choose you. And we choose the whole family, because when we're raising a family, we're raising it together. And so Lee and Sharonda were very receiving of that message. I think Zion was as well. And I was really, really grateful that Noah and Tyreek could join us here today as well. The city will put its arms around all of us, but what we're going to do is love each other enough to tell each other what we need to hear. And Lee embraced that night. And what Lee told me that night was they chose us. And there was a bunch of media around the very next day, some of you will remember, that Zion was going to go back to school. He had wanted to go to another team. And all this media came up, and it was alarming, obviously, to someone in my position, because I'm trained to believe that when you sit in front of people, there may always be something else going on. So I reached back out to Lee and Sharonda, and I'm like, please tell me that's not true. And Lee was not a happy camper that I had to make that phone call. He said, did I not tell you, if you choose us, we choose you? I said, you did. He said, then what are we doing here? I tell you all of that to give you some understanding of exactly what Mrs. Benson says when she says Zion was raised the right way. These are people of their word. These are people that have been all about family from the very beginning. Zion stayed at a small school for high school, Spartanburg Academy, because his mother told him, if you can play, the coaches will find you anywhere. But you stay grounded, you stay with your friends, and you be Zion, and let them come to you. That obviously worked. And what it did is it laid the groundwork for a kid who is all about others, who's all about team, he's all about family, and he's not about himself. And the reason that was so meaningful for us is that's all we want to build. When Trajan and Swin came on board, we talked at length about what it looks like to raise this family. And so with all of their input, with the incredible front office we have that are here on the right, everything we do is about adding members to this family that are reflective of the same values that Zion's family have instilled in him. And fortunately, we are blessed. Drew Holiday is one of those guys.
That's VP of Basketball Operations David Griffin's thoughts on Zion Williamson and the culture and teams that, the culture and the family that the Pelicans have been building since the hiring of VP of Basketball Operations David Griffin. Speaking in reference to Swim Cash, who's who was brought on in an executive capacity, as well as general manager Trajan Langdon, all working well, very bright people, very excellent basketball folks, and winners. The hiring of the trainer, Aaron, brings him in here. The best trainer in the league. Some people say that'll help. That was his first hiring, was to hire Aaron. But this is an excellent focal point of the Pelican organization as they continue to hit on everything. They've hit on everything except for Elvin Gentry, in my opinion. He's the only thing that needs to go. He hadn't made any decisions, haven't changed his staff in. It's the same staff that we have since last year. I think they failed the team last year, and they're getting a free pass. But this year, they're in a frying pan. And the key point, everybody changed except for them. They're the only stale thing there. But I won't get into that. Let's finish getting into some of the rest of these stories before I go into the rest of our interviews. We talk about, of course, the Pelicans continue to do great things, man. And another thing we talk about is this trade that just won't go away. The Pelicans and the Lakers rework the deal to open up to give the Pelicans. And this is something that they've been pushing on, but it wasn't the final version of the deal. Now, according to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, The Insider, he reported today that the Lakers, of course, traded 3 players, Wagner, Bonga, and Jones, to the Wizards as a part of a reworked trade package with the Pelicans. Now, the Lakers are sending Washington a 2020 second-round pick as a part of the deal. Now this is according to Shams Charania of The Atlantic. And in addition to the Wizards, will send the Pelicans $1.1 million in cash as a part of the reworked deal. So the Pelicans will basically pay $1 million to rework a deal to free up money for them so that they can move 3 players, Wagner, Bonga, and Jones, to the Wizards for basically a second-round pick. So they paid the Pelicans to kind of open up the deal. It's real interesting. So the Pelicans continue to win regardless of what they're doing. They get $1 million just to help the Lakers out, which goes to their large stockhold of cash reserves, now currently sitting over $30 million. So you got to give the Pelicans a lot of respect for what they're doing. Also, Anthony Davis decided that he also decided to give up some money to help the Lakers out, but that's on their ass. Let him worry about that. And at the end of the day, the Pelicans continue to move the bar and do some terrific things moving ahead. Now, let's talk about some of the undrafted guys the Pelicans had an opportunity to bring in and sign, despite the fact that they had drafted the players we talked about, which is called Zion Williamson with the first overall pick. Then later on, with the 8th pick, they took the best center prospect in the draft, Jackson Hayes, out of the University of Texas. Then 17th pick, they took Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who is the cousin of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, out with the Lakers. And He's a terrific player, shooting 38% from the three-point line. Excellent, and plus a developmental player. Pelicans didn't stop there after the draft. They were able to ink a couple of more players. Zillion Chatham is one undrafted players to sign with the Pelicans, and he is a guy that shot 17% from three-point range in his 2 NCAA seasons at San Diego, his third season. Not too much to talk about, but made 44 of his attempts. This is interesting because the Pelicans getting a hustle player with Chatham, who is just a scrappy player. Outside of that, the team looked at University of Central Florida guard Aubrey Dawkins, who also signed, according to Yahoo Sports. And the Pelicans made other signings. Javon Best, who signed with the Pelicans. And Best transferred colleges. Best started at Michigan State, but ended his career with St. Louis in the A-10 Athletic 10 Conference. And it's real interesting to see how the Pelicans continue to pick up some of these undrafted players. Now, most of these players are basically guards, big guards. So the Pelicans looking to add shooting. Shooting is the word of the day around the Pelicans organization. Now, before we finish the rest of the stories and topics, let's move on to the next draft. Next person to speak, which is, of course, Elvin Gentry, as he talks about what Zion Williamson bring to the team.
No, it's an honor to really to have an opportunity to coach a player like Zion, and not just from his ability standpoint, just from the character that he has. When you start to try to turn a franchise into a consistent winner, you got to have the talent, but you have to have people that have the character that he has. And so just adding him to the mix, along with other people like Drew Holiday, I think that we're well on our way to doing that. And I think that it's going to be enjoyable to see. The style of basketball that we'll play, he more than fits into it. We're going to be exciting to watch. The fan base that we have here, you'll learn that they're really, really dedicated and they will follow you all the way. And I think what Mrs. Benson says, that if you love this city, it'll more than love you back. And I can't imagine anything that you wouldn't do to make the city love you. So you don't get to coach guys like this very often. And when you're lucky enough to have a generational player like that you're going to be able to coach, you relish the honor of being able to coach a guy like that. We had fun in Chicago that night talking about old school guys that I had no idea that he would know anything about. Right, Lee? He'll tell you. But, he's a basketball guy. And more so than anything, he's a tremendous guy, and he's all about the team. You talk to anybody at Duke, you talk to anybody at his high school, his mom and his dad and the way they operate, that he's all about the team. And, those kind of guys, when you add them to your franchise, you're headed, like I said, very much in the right direction. So I know you guys are here to hear him, but I just want to say that we're so excited to have him on our team. The assistant coaches, we've been writing lineups on the board, and every time we write a lineup on the board, his name is in capital letters. So we're excited about having him here, and we look forward to a long and a great relationship. So thank you.
Coach Elvin Gentry, thoughts on Zion Williamson writing up plays and everything. Hope he adds some defensive plays in there to play better defense. Scoring 130 points a game and giving up 131 points a game ain't gonna work, Coach. We need more balance there. Anyway, before we get into our final interview, which will be Zion Williamson, as he makes his Pelican post-game report debut, let's get into some of the discussions dealing with a few of the things dealing with the Pelicans undrafted guys. Sheik Diallo and Stanley Roberts were declined. Offers were declined. That was not a surprise to us. We knew eventually that the Pelicans would probably decline Sheik Diallo. He didn't develop as well as we would think he would. But Sheik is no longer going to be a Pelican. We knew Stanley Robertson. Me personally knew Stanley Robertson wasn't going to make it down here. He doesn't have a shot. His defense is suspect as well. So the Pelicans kind of moving a lot of the pieces that was affiliated with Dale Demps out of here as they continue to build the team with sturdier pieces. Not pieces or players. Looking at the Pelicans starting lineup as it stands, Lonzo Ball at the point off guards, Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram at small forward, Zion Williamson is at the 4 center position. As it stands, has to be Jackson Hayes, the 8th overall pick. That's a pretty solid lineup. Off the bench, yet to be determined. We still have Frank Jackson, Josh Hart, Jaleel Okafor off the bench. And we also have guys like Christian Wood, and Kenrick Williams. Then there's Nickel Alexander-Walker. You have to fit in there. Etwan Moore is still there. So they still have a few pieces that the team could use to build. Of course, Julian Randle opted out of his deal as well. Darius Miller is someone that might not come back as well. And so it's the Pelicans have a few things, a few people that's still attached to the team that they have to be able to decide on whether or not they're going to do. But as it stands, Sheik Diallo and Stanley Robinson have no future with the Pelican organization. Now, other things circulating right now about the Pelicans is the fact that free agent interest is all over the place. You have the Pelicans linked to Tobias Harris. You have them linked to Kevon Looney. You have them linked to all manner of free agents out there. We don't know exactly how the ball would play out. But if you look at the Pelicans starting lineup, we know the starting lineup is pretty set unless they decide to add Al Horford, who they were linked to. There's might be a trade. I don't know what Houston Rockets are looking at, a person like Clint Capella who would fit well in what the Pelicans are trying to do as well. So who knows what could happen in these situations. But if you are the Pelicans, some of the key areas you would look for is a veteran backup point guard behind Lonzo Ball that can kind of handle the stick, because Frank Jackson's not quite ready. Maybe another small forward that can shoot the rock, a veteran small forward. Maybe another big power forward big that has a perimeter game that can shoot the three off the bench. So the Pelicans do have a few things. Whether they attack whether the Pelicans come out and try to attack the upper tier when the free agent period starts coming up soon, I don't know if to say they'll go there. I'd be really surprised if the Pelicans fire out the gate and try to land a max free agent. I don't think they need that. I think they pretty much just need to focus on building the bench and adding the depth to what they already have established that they picked up through the trade of Anthony Davis, and just build around that. There's no need to go wild and spend all the money that we have. We're sitting in a pretty elegant position. So for a lot of people that say, well, the Pelicans might be looking at, I just don't see it. A first-tier free agent, unless you decide to move Lonzo Ball off the bench, which would stifle Frank Jackson's ability to develop, I don't know. But they definitely can use another veteran point guard off the bench. They definitely can use a small forward shooter, maybe a couple of them, a stretch four off the bench. And because they have Jaleel Okafor and Jackson Hayes are good. Christian Wood is another guy. But the Pelicans need solid depth, veteran-wise, off the bench. So it'd be interesting to see exactly what the Pelicans do as far as that concerned. So $30 million a cap, man. It's just lovely. And the Pelicans are set up pretty good. Now, let's go into our final interview from first overall draft pick and franchise star Zion Williamson as he makes his debut as the Pelicans.
And I also wanted to point out, because you're Spartanburg, South Carolina, and you're in the region. So when I say we, the South, it's got to be a comfort zone for you to be so close to home as well.
Yeah, it is very comfortable knowing that I'm pretty close to home, that I can get on a short flight and go back to South Carolina anytime.
Now, you played for an amazing head coach who I've been able to work with before, in Coach K. So tell us about working with Coach K and what you're going to take forward as well.
Working with Coach K was a different experience because he's coached all the greats. So, I mean, he would tell you, I don't know who told you guys you were good, but you're not. He'd be like, I've seen Kobe, I've seen Jordan, I've seen LeBron. You guys aren't there yet. So, I mean, he always kept us grounded, and he would always tell us to just be ourselves and just try to keep the game as simple as possible.
And I don't know if you saw and I tweeted it out, it was about a 2-minute conversation with Coach K talking about Zion. So obviously, he waits till you're gone to praise you, because he did say some amazing things about Zion and his ability, and especially more as a person, believe it or not, than as a basketball player, which is the best part of it all for all of us, and I still can't believe you're not 19 years old yet. So finally, before we open up to the local media, style of play, because you've seen Alvin's style of play. Are you in shape?
Am I in shape? I mean, I don't think you guys would have drafted me if that was the case. But I think I'm in pretty good shape.
Okay, all right. Because 82 games, Greyhound races personified. You know, we start games around here. Here comes Lucky, basically. They throw it up. And what I did like, Alvin gave you some advice, right? Rebound and run?
Yes. He said if I get the rebound, just push it.
That's Joel Myers, man. Having an interview with Zion Williamson. As you can hear, Zion Williamson's very young. He's ready to go. Elvin Gentry say you get the ball, push it. Elvin Gentry need to start talking defense as well, man. You know, don't squander this, man. That's the only hiccup we got here is whether or not he could teach defense what does offense. I know he can run an offense, but can he run the defense? Can he run a balanced team consistently for the entire year? This team should make the playoffs. It should be considered a failure if this team doesn't make the playoffs. We have enough assets. And, of course, when the free agency period is done, we should have enough free agents that come here to help the Pelicans establish themselves as a playoff team. We should be a playoff team from here on out with an established franchise star. Drew Holiday is already here. You bring in talent like Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. These guys are healthy. Jackson Hayes is a stud big. You got a few of the other young players that should contribute and help. Plus, they'll bring in veterans that can come in and solidify the bunch. So this should be a playoff team from here on out. I don't want to hear anything about this team missing the playoffs. With Zion Williamson, and if he's healthy, with the new trainers we have, and this team should be pressing, should be a team looking at the playoffs, no doubt about it, from here on out. I don't want to hear anything about billing and all this stuff. This is, I don't want to hear it from Elvin Gentry. But anyway, that's Zion Williamson. As you can hear, let me ask you something, fellas, family. The Pelicans are consistently looking in different ways. We're hearing all kinds of reports and all over the place dealing with whether or not the Pelicans should take, looking at the free agency market, whether they looking at guys like Tobias Harris, or looking at people like Kevon Looney, all kind of manner of free agents that is possible. The trades they're involved in as well. Can the Pelicans, man, build this thing the right way? David Griffin, masterful job. Getting rid of Solomon Hill's contract. Drafting, getting multiple draft picks, adding depth. I mean, the sky's the limit for what the Pelicans are doing, and it's actually exciting, man. I love to see it. Well, that'll do it for the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. I'd like to thank y'all for joining us. If you haven't already done so, please go to our YouTube page and subscribe on Spreaker. Hit the notification and thumbs up buttons for more content and support the show. From me and the crew here, thank you for joining us. Peace.
Straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needs it the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to EmbracePetInsurance.com. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAStore.com has all the gear.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network.
Dad, thanks for taking me bowling. This is fun.
I just wanted to talk to you about protecting yourself.
Dad.
You know, at some point, maybe you're posting dance vids at a party.
Dance vids?
Yeah, the dance vids. And people around you are using cable internet. You can always call me or your mom and we'll come get you. No questions asked.
Dad, I know to use internet with AT&T Fiber.
You know, it's just the people with cable internet, they could have the upload speeds of internet with AT&T Fiber and they choose not to. They're not thinking, son.
Dad, I'll be okay.
Hey, good talk, right? All right, you're up, big guy.
Don't get mixed up with cable internet. Get AT&T Fiber with faster upload speeds. Switch to AT&T Fiber and DirecTV and save when you bundle for $75 per month for 1 year after discounts with 24-month TV and 12-month internet agreements. Limited availability may not be in your area. Check eligibility at att.com/fiber300. Ends 4/13/19. New residential customers in select markets only. Price for internet 300 and select TV package. Requires combined billing, auto pay, and paperless bill. Price is higher in second year. Pay $80 per month until discount starts within 3 bills. Equipment lease activation, early termination, equipment non-return, taxes, other charges and restrictions apply. Compares upload speeds for internet 300 of up to 300 megabits per second to up to 35 for Comcast, Cox, and Spectrum. Speeds vary, not guaranteed.
Dad, thanks for taking me bowling. This is fun.
I just wanted to talk to you about protecting yourself.
Dad.
You know, at some point, maybe you're posting dance vids at a party.
Dance vids?
Yeah, the dance vids. And people around you are using cable internet. You can always call me or your mom and we'll come get you. No questions asked.
Dad, I know to use internet with AT&T Fiber.
You know, it's just the people with cable internet, they could have the upload speeds of internet with AT&T Fiber and they choose not to. They're not thinking, son.
Dad, I'll be okay.
Hey, good talk, right? All right, you're up, big guy.
Don't get mixed up with cable internet. Get AT&T Fiber with faster upload speeds. Switch to AT&T Fiber and DirecTV and save when you bundle for $75 per month for 1 year after discounts with 24-month TV and 12-month internet agreements. Limited availability may not be in your area. Check eligibility at att.com/fiber300. Ends 4/13/19. New residential customers in select markets only. Price for internet 300 and select TV package. Requires combined billing, auto pay, and paperless bill. Price is higher in second year. Pay $80 per month until discount starts within 3 bills. Equipment lease activation, early termination, equipment non-return, taxes, other charges and restrictions apply. Compares upload speeds for internet 300 of up to 300 megabits per second to up to 35 for Comcast, Cox, and Spectrum. Speeds vary, not guaranteed.